Artifacts are the last item you unlock in Borderlands 3, and at the time you unlock them, they're pretty underwhelming, giving you negligible bonuses to random stats. Usually by the time artifacts actually become useful, I've forgotten all about them. However, there are certain artifacts that are worth using even at level 30ish when you first unlock them, and especially once you've hit max level and they give a decent increase to your stats as well. Hey everyone, I'm Constant Canadian, and these are the top 10 artifacts in Borderlands 3. If you enjoy this video, then be sure to leave a like and subscribe as it really helps out the channel, and if you really enjoy the video, consider joining the membership program. 99 cents a month gets you a shout out at the end of my videos, as well as these cute emotes and awesome sub badges. And for $4.99 a month, you get all that, plus early access to most of my videos. Starting off the list, we have the Cutpurse Launchpad, probably one of the most universally useful artifacts in the game, unless you're playing Moze. The Cutpurse Launchpad is not only a specific artifact, but it's also a specific prefix as well, making it extra difficult to farm for. To break it down for you, the Cutpurse prefix gives you and your allies 9 to 13% of your ammo capacity back whenever you melee an enemy, which is already really nice. But then, if you combine that with the Launchpad legendary artifact, it gets even better. The Launchpad on Slam sends 9 homing rockets at your enemies, and what's strange is each of these rockets counts as their own individual melee damage, meaning that, with the Cutpurse variant of this artifact, if you hit all 9 of those rockets on an enemy, you are getting at least 81% of your ammo capacity back for whichever weapon you happen to be holding. By the way, when I say capacity, I mean total capacity, not just magazine size. So you can get back over 1,000 assault rifle ammo in a matter of seconds with this artifact. If you want one of these for yourself, you can farm it from Red Rain on the Slaughter 3000 map, but you're better off just keeping an eye out for it as a world drop while you're farming other stuff. Next up is the Snowdrift. Now, unlike literally every other item on this list, the Snowdrift isn't so much an artifact as it is an artifact prefix. The Snowdrift prefix on artifacts summons a cryo snowball that launches forward whenever you slide, with a short cooldown. However, the Snowdrift also increases your slide speed by up to 128%, which is far beyond any practical use in combat, but it is very useful for quickly traversing some of the larger maps in the game. The Snowdrift isn't really something you can specifically farm for, so you kinda just have to hope that it drops as a prefix on an artifact you are gonna use anyway to get that incredible slide speed. The Deathless is a pretty niche artifact that really only has 2 uses, but it's really good for those 2 uses. Definitely better than any other alternatives. The Deathless artifact removes all but one of your health points, but in return grants you 100% bonus shield capacity, 25% bonus recharge rate, and 20% bonus recharge delay. What's nice about this artifact is that it will always do the same thing, regardless of level. Like I said before, the Deathless only really has 2 purposes. Firstly, activating the URAD anointment. Since with this artifact your health is always at 1, this anointment will always be active as long as you're wearing the Deathless. Secondly, the Deathless artifact also pairs really well with Moze's Orange Tree and Bloodletter class mod. I won't go into too much detail here, but basically, Bloodletter Moze thrives with low health and high shields, so this works perfectly for that build. The Deathless artifact drops from Phoenix in the Splinterlands map on Pandora, however with only a 10% drop chance, this farm is super painful, so just have a show ready to binge in the background. Next up is the Victory Rush. The Victory Rush is one of the most useful base game artifacts in Borderlands 3. On Badass Kill, the Victory Rush will grant the wearer plus 18% movement speed and gun damage for a full minute. Now, in the earlier stages of this game, where badasses are less common, you might find it pretty difficult to keep this buff active a majority of the time. However, in later stages of the game, you'll be hard pressed to go a full 60 seconds without seeing a badass enemy, meaning this buff will pretty much always be active. The Victory Rush is especially good on Amara and Moze since they lack a lot of gun damage in their trees, but is pretty useful on all Vault Hunters. This artifact drops from Azalea, who spawns in the Jacob's Estate map on Eden 6 during or after the side quest Witch's Brew. The Pearl of Ineffable Knowledge took the game by storm when it first came out with the Guns, Love, and Tentacles DLC. The item card on the Pearl of Ineffable Knowledge says, successful consecutive hits grant a 1% stacking gun damage bonus up to 15 stacks. At 15 stacks, the Pearl grants an extra 90% gun damage. However, when the Pearl first launched with DLC 2, it actually granted somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 bonus gun damage at its maximum of 15 stacks, which made the Pearl arguably the single best artifact at the time. Gearbox did eventually get around to fixing this bug, so now the Pearl actually does grant the noted 90% damage at max stacks. The Pearl is still a really good artifact, and is one of the best, especially when paired with the consecutive hits anointment. The only thing really holding this artifact back from being the best is the fact that it can't spawn with a prefix, and can only roll with 6 passives, half of which are pretty useless. Still though, the Pearl of Ineffable Knowledge really holds its own, especially on Flak and Amara. If you want one of these for yourself, you get a guaranteed drop from Claptrap at the beginning of the mission, the Call of Githian. The Otto Idol is Borderlands 3's best survivability artifact, hands down. The Otto Idol artifact gives up to 25% of your current maximum health back whenever you kill an enemy. It's a pretty simple effect, and there isn't much to it. However, for how simple it is really freaking good, especially for glass cannon builds. The percentage of health that the Otto Idol gives back is based on your level, so it's best to get one at max level. Since with a max level Otto Idol, 4 kills gives you back all of your health, and even just 2 should put you back up above health gate. Like I said before, it's super useful for a glass cannon build, and I almost always have one on my Flak. If you want an Otto Idol for yourself, then you need to farm Rachel the Anointed in the Cathedral of the Twin Gods that spawns during and after the main story quest, The Great Vault. Next up is the Shlooter. The Shlooter is an artifact that was added with Borderlands 3's 6th and final DLC. This artifact on kill gives a 12-second bonus of 1000% to your loot quality. The effects of this artifact are absolutely ridiculous, as it makes about 75% of your drops legendary. When the Shlooter first launched, its effects were even crazier, giving a 100,000% boost to loot quality, which made almost every single drop a legendary one, but it was quickly nerfed. Still to this day though, the Shlooter is pretty much essential for farming any world drops like class mods or artifacts, and it is pretty easy to get as it just comes from the second vault card for 5 keys. This thing is super fun to use during the Slaughter Shaft or Slaughter Star as it basically just rains legendaries everywhere. The Tobbogan flew way under my radar when it first launched with the likes of the Tizzy, Kick Charger, Plasma Coil, Madcap, Kensei, and all 4 of the new skill trees. DLC 5 came with a lot to play around with, so unfortunately for me, I completely missed the Tobbogan. The Tobbogan is a legendary artifact added with DLC 5 that is only obtainable through Arms Race. Not only does the Tobbogan double its wearer's slide speed, but it also grants the wearer a protective bubble for 10 seconds after sliding. That may not sound like much, but this bubble doesn't just reduce incoming damage by 50%, it also amps the first shot through it by 100%, consuming the bubble. The Tobbogan is the secret to one-shotting a lot of different mobs and bosses. Giving your weapon literally double the damage right from the get-go makes all the insane damage formula stuff that happens to the weapon even crazier. If you want this artifact for yourself, it has an increased chance to drop from the chests in the Plunderdome portion of the Arms Race map. The next artifact is so powerful, so unbelievably broken that I'm sure a lot of people are surprised it's not at the top of the list. The Unleash the Dragon artifact. The Unleash the Dragon has been doing the same thing since Lodge, but its effect was seriously slept on due to melee damage not being that great up until near the end of the game's life cycle. If you don't know, the Unleash the Dragon artifact applies a fire damage over time effect whenever its wearer attacks an enemy with a melee attack. Where this gets special though is the fire dot that the artifact deals the same amount of damage per second that its triggering melee attack deals. This is pretty good once you get a really powerful melee build going on that deals over 5 million damage per hit, since that means 5 million damage per second on top of the damage you're already dealing. However, the absurdity doesn't just stop there. If you've been playing Borderlands 3 for a little bit, you've probably heard of the Fish Slap Grenade, a grenade whose damage counts as melee damage. If your regular melee attack deals 5 million damage, then the Fish Slap Grenade can deal upwards of 600 million damage. Pair this with the Unleash the Dragon artifact and, well, let me just show you. Yeah, 600 million damage per second is going to destroy everything it touches. The best part of this combo is that using the Fish Slap and the Unleash the Dragon artifact requires 0 DLC, meaning it's a pretty easy way for base game players to destroy everything. The Unleash the Dragon artifact drops from L Dragon Jr. on the Jacob's Estate map on Eden 6. The honorable mention for this list is the Cutpurse Rocket Boots. This artifact combo works similar to the Cutpurse Launchpad, it just works slower. The Rocket Boots artifact launches homing rockets while its wearer slides. Just like with the Launchpad, these rockets count as melee damage for the Cutpurse prefix, giving essentially infinite ammo. The Cutpurse Rocket Boots is basically a slightly worse Cutpurse Launchpad. But anyways, let's just get into number 1. Do you remember the Allegiance Relics from Borderlands 2? Well then you're going to love the Company Man from Borderlands 3. I personally miss the old, less randomized style of artifacts from Borderlands 2, which is what makes the Company Man so awesome. The Company Man has a special effect that 50% of the picked up cash is banked into the artifact, and after 10 kills, the artifact will pay out the money to its wearer. I know, that's pretty great, right? I'm only kidding. Of course that's not all this artifact does. The Company Man also rolls with one of the weapon manufacturers on drop, and always grants 3 different bonuses for that specific manufacturer. These bonuses can roll from damage, critical damage, fire rate, magazine size, reload speed, and accuracy. The Company Man is literally just an Allegiance relic from Borderlands 2, except turned up to 100. The right rolls on this artifact can outperform almost any other artifact. And while the Company Man doesn't roll with a prefix, it does roll with 3 passive stats on top of the manufacturer bonuses. It's not the full list of passives that other artifacts get, but it can still roll with elemental damage passives. Not that you really need that with this artifact. The Company Man is one of the best artifacts in Borderlands 3, and if you want one of these for yourself, it can drop from any enemy in the Director's Cut DLC, but has a significantly increased chance to drop from Hemovorous or Vermivorous the Invincible. As you can tell, there are a lot of really good artifacts in this game. Hopefully this video helped you find the perfect artifact for your build. Are there any other artifacts you think I've missed? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching, have a great day.